You've been feeling it lately, haven't you? That strange sensation sitting in your chest. You recognize you're not the person you used to be, but you haven't fully become who you're meant to be either. Something feels different, not broken, just unfamiliar in a way you can't quite name. Your thoughts carry more weight now. Your patience wears thinner. The distractions that once soothed you no longer work. You feel stretched thin, quietly restless, as if your soul is standing at the edge of something vast it cannot yet see clearly. This isn't chaos breaking you down. This is the test. This isn't the beginning of collapse. This is the final moment before everything shifts. What you're experiencing right now is the last checkpoint before transformation completes itself. The universe is watching to see whether you'll retreat into your old identity or finally step forward as the person you were designed to become. This is not happening to you as punishment. It's happening for you as preparation. You've outgrown your former self, and your system knows it even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. That's why the old habits feel hollow now. That's why familiar people suddenly feel distant. That's why patterns that once fit you perfectly no longer make sense. You aren't lost in the way you fear. You're between versions of yourself, shedding one skin before the next one fully forms. And this is precisely where most people fail the test. They feel the discomfort and immediately retreat. They sense the unfamiliarity and choose what's known over what's possible. They feel the stretch and decide to shrink back into something smaller. But you didn't endure everything you've been through just to return to the very things that broke you in the first place. This moment, this strange and quiet and stretching season, exists to reveal a single truth about you. Will you choose fear, or will you choose obedience to your higher self? Because abundance doesn't respond to desperation, to begging, to frantic energy. It responds to alignment. And alignment requires something most people refuse to give. It requires letting the old version of you die completely. Right now, the universe isn't punishing you for something you did wrong. It's preparing you for something you're about to step into. Every moment you felt misunderstood, every silent night you've sat through alone, every prayer that seemed to go unanswered, every delay that made you question whether you were on the right path, none of it was wasted. You are being shaped during those moments. You are being refined even now. You are being prepared to handle what's coming next, not just to receive it in a moment of excitement, but to sustain it over time without collapsing under its weight. Because abundance that arrives before someone is ready becomes destruction. It overwhelms, it distorts, it breaks what isn't strong enough to hold it. But abundance that arrives after discipline, after waiting, after internal fortification, that becomes destiny. It becomes something you can carry without losing yourself. That's why you had to wait as long as you did. That's why the process was harder than you thought it would be. That's why this moment feels so strange and uncomfortable. This is the final stretch before everything changes, and it's designed to feel this way. You're not weak for feeling tired right now. You're shedding old weight that no longer serves where you're going. The universe is not distant from you. You are being watched more closely now than you have been in a long time, not with judgment, but with protection. You are being carefully guarded from stepping backward into old patterns. You are being gently but firmly pushed forward into what you're becoming. You'll notice the test showing up in small, quiet ways. It appears as the sudden urge to give up when you're this close. It shows up as the temptation to return to people who drained your energy before. It whispers through the voice in your head that says maybe this path isn't meant for you after all. It arrives as tiredness that suggests you should just settle for something easier, something safer, something less demanding. And this is exactly where the door opens, not when everything suddenly gets easier, but when you choose to step forward even when it's hard. Do it while you're scared. Do it while you're exhausted. Do it while your hands are trembling. But do not retreat. As long as you keep moving forward, even in small steps, abundance cannot miss you. It's already tracking you. It's already moving toward you. And the only way to lose it now is to turn around, and walk back into who you used to be. The old you is no longer available. That version has expired. It completed its purpose. It got you this far, and now it's done. You are not the person you were at the beginning of this year. You are not the soul who used to settle for less. You are not the version of yourself who merely survived. You are becoming the one who receives, who holds, who stands in what's been prepared. The universe only tests people who are close to something significant. If you weren't ready, you wouldn't feel this internal tension pulling at you. If you weren't aligned with something greater, you wouldn't feel this depth of discomfort. If you weren't chosen for this particular path, you wouldn't feel this kind of pressure building inside your chest. The pressure itself is proof. It's confirmation that you're exactly where you need to be, even when it doesn't feel that way. And right now, the universe is closer to you than you think. It's not fixing everything for you. It's not rescuing you from the discomfort. It's strengthening you from the inside out. Because what's coming for you requires a level of strength, clarity, faith, and backbone that you're developing right now in this exact moment. And you already have it. Even now, even while you're tired, even while you're confused, even while you're unsure of the next step, you have what you need. If this is landing for you, I want to ask something. Please subscribe to this channel. I create content specifically for people navigating these exact transitions, these moments where everything feels uncertain, but something deeper is clearly shifting. Subscribing means you'll have a place to return to when you need this perspective again. I'd be grateful for your support. Now let's go deeper. You don't need to force what's coming. You don't need to chase it down or manufacture it through sheer willpower. You only need to hold your posture. You only need to remain standing in your truth. Because abundance doesn't come to people who beg for it or desperately grasp at it. It comes to people who are ready to stand in it, to receive it without collapsing, to hold it without losing themselves in the process. So if something inside you feels like it's breaking right now, consider that it might be the shell cracking open. If you feel profoundly lonely, consider that it might be separation happening before elevation arrives. If you feel exhausted in a way rest doesn't seem to touch, consider that it might be the last labored breath before your sprint begins. This is your final test, arriving not to break you into pieces, but to confirm who you've become through everything you've already survived. Now listen closely because this matters. There is a version of you that already exists, already walking in the peace you've been praying for. There is a version of you already standing firmly in the provision you've been waiting for. And the only thing separating you from that version right now is your willingness to fully let the old you die. You don't need anyone's permission to step into that. You don't need external proof that it's real. You don't need validation from people who can't see what you see. You only need obedience to what your soul already knows to be true. If you've made it this far, if you're still here reading these words, that alone tells you something important. You are ready. You are being led, even when the path feels unclear. You are protected, even when you feel exposed. You are being watched over, even in the silence. You are chosen for this, even when doubt whispers otherwise. And abundance is not something distant coming toward you someday in the future. It's already moving through you right now, reshaping you from the inside, preparing you to hold what's about to arrive. Before we finish, I want to ask one more thing. If what you've heard today resonated with something deep inside you, please consider subscribing. This message is for people exactly where you are right now, and I'd be honored to continue walking this path with you. Thank you for being here. Now step forward into what's waiting for you.